Greetings and welcome back, Blade fans. OG Blade Reviews here, formerly This Old Sword. Back with you again with the interesting new design just came out from TwoSun Knives. You may or may not be a knowledgeable person about TwoSun Knives, but generally what you're getting is a very high quality, almost custom-made knife for far less than some of the big name brands like Kaiser and Concept and Benchmade and so on and so forth. This one's unique. He has come out with some unique designs, and I'll show you another one of his designs in a moment. The only two I'm aware of, and I know there's probably one or two more at least, is this one and one over on the side that I'm going to bring out in a moment called the Huntsman. And you may recall seeing my review on that one. Not too many people picked that one up for review. It's kind of an odd looking knife. This, we'll start off with the fact that they did some pretty wild and radical gold anno on the titanium handle of this knife. And it's not a lightweight, it's a hefty knife, and it's not a small knife. Blade somewhat shorter than you might imagine, but at the same time, very tall, and we'll check that out in a moment. But I just want you to take a gander at this. See if I can adjust the lights a little here so you can see it better. Very shiny handle. I would say bordering on being pretty slick. Although I'm not sure you can see it, there is micro milling in here. I can feel it. You may or may not be able to see it because the design kind of takes over. And there's sort of like blue and red electric lightning bolts running through this. And with the knife looking kind of so goldish, some of you are going to say, yep, garage knife. Because the garage knives tend to go over the top with, you know, kind of a cheap plated sort of stuff. But when you're talking titanium and anode titanium, we're talking premium materials here. Clip that only goes on one side, not on the left. And what the heck, let's open it. It's a back flipper, it's a front flipper, and it is a hole opener. Bang, as Jared likes to say. If I could borrow that from you, Jared? Yeah, just for this time, maybe. Great channel, of course, Jared Neve. Look at this blade, though. It's like a sharpened spade, shovel. It's got that point, but it's so tall that it's, is it a gut shovel? That name's been used by none other than Morgan Cohen and some others in blades that have sort of this shape, a very, very wide, tall blade with a point, but a more, I wouldn't call it obtuse, but not extremely pointy, certainly pointy enough to pierce through things. And why don't we check that out before we even get going? I mean, it's going to pierce. And guess what? Eat wheel cut too. Oh, so smooth. Oh my God. This is a high, slicey grind. It comes from the factory that way. They do, generally speaking, a good job from TwoSun with giving you out of the box excellent sharp edges. Why don't we measure it up, and then we're going to take a detailed look around. It is 8.65 overall length, 375 blade length, cutting edge 3 1/4, because you've got a full size choil there. Thicknesses, inches across the handle, 0.56, not bad for a hefty knife. I'd expected it would be a little thicker than that. And the blade stock, come on, 0.15, you know what that means. What does it mean? I was going to say 4 millimeters, but it's saying 3.9. We're going to round it up to 4. Convenient. Let's get a weight on this guy. Then we'll be all set with the specs. Except that it is 14C28N steel. So you're going to see that pop up in the screen. Weight, not a lightweight knife, 5777. Play that number, 5.77 ounces. Yeah. So the question is always, is there weight relieving? And yes, the answer in this case is yes. Getting my flashlight out of the pocket. It's the only way to really show you the innards of a knife. There we go. So we got some big old pockets in there, both sides. So plenty of weight relieving. It is a Framelock with a hardened steel insert. This had a very hard detent when I first got it. So I have disassembled the knife. I have eased the pressure on the lock bar and also on the detent on the blade, which actually on a lot of TwoSuns it's like this. You can see it right there. And a lot of people don't like that. You can see the detent hole in the blade. But what I did with that was I had a Dremel grinding bit with a blunt point on it, and I just took it in my fingers and did one of these and softened the shoulder, the very sharp shoulder in that detent pocket. And now it's drop shut, which it was in the beginning, and just about the right detent, whether you're middle finger flicking it or flipping it from the back. And I'll do my best attempt here at using the front flipper. And I may not, yeah. It's kind of, for those of you that are highly skilled in using front flippers, I think you can do it, but it's just a little nub and it's right opposite the pivot. So you don't have a whole lot of leverage, but I know, and I've seen people do it. So it's doable, guys. It's doable. 3-way opener then. And let's take a closer look. It's almost as if I don't have all my lights on here. But I think it's the shininess of the knife. It's got a stonewash finish. It looks pretty bright, but it is a stonewash finish. I can't always tell looking through the viewfinder of the camera, which is where my eyes are focused now, as to detail that you're going to be able to see later. But extremely comfortable and ergonomic. We've got a nice forefinger thumb pinch set up here for detail work. You do have to raise it up pretty high to get it to work with the point. I'd say, you know, getting to be about 80 degrees, 75, 80 degrees there. But it's got a nice workable belly. Now, James Lowe says he sort of devised this as kind of a tactical, i.e. self-defense, as well as EDC knife. And, you know, I can see that because you can square up on it and you can do your push cuts. If you like bracing the blade with the back, with the thumb, back of the blade, the spine, definitely can. And you got enough point there that that's going to work for you. Not like some real extreme pointy blades, don't get me wrong, but you got enough of a point there to get through. And this edge, the way it is a big old razor blade. This width on the blade, by the way, is 1.5 inches tall. Plenty of room in the, it's caught up on the detent, speaking of detents, plenty of room to get your thumb in there. So that would be 4 ways. Middle finger flick, thumb, back flipper, and of course, front flipper. I just love front flippers. Can't use most of them. Only thing that gives me a little pause with keeping this in your hand under rough circumstances is the slipperiness of this, although I can feel that texture. And I know you probably can or cannot see that texture. Yeah, maybe you can a little bit. These lines, micro milling lines, but so comfortable. 3 fingers just fit right in that handle swale there. Index finger there. Will it work in the point down, edge forward? Yeah, it will. And it's actually not too uncomfortable. They rounded the pommel just enough so that you can see. I can get my thumb and cap it, but this isn't so sharp here. This is radiused, so that doesn't feel terribly uncomfortable like it might if it was pointier. Full choil. No worries about cutting your finger. And some very nice jimping in there. Very grippy jimping. Nice crescent shape there to fit your thumb into. Told you I'd bring out another knife that James had designed. And where are we here? Let's see if, I don't know if I'm too bright in my exposure or not. I'm going to knock it down another notch. Here is the Kaiser made Huntsman, not Huntsman, but Huntsman. This is an odd looking knife. And that is, as I say, a Kaiser manufactured knife designed by James Lowe. And it is out of, I think, S35. Did they even mark it? Here it is. Yeah, S35 VM. You can see that. I might have pulled it out of the frame. These holes are supposed to represent the 4 eyes of the spider. It's a big old spider that's indigenous to Australia. And this is going to be a longer knife. No, look at that. James, you kept both of your knives with the same overall length. How about that? So about 8 3/4-ish, 8.65-ish on the Huntsman. Beautiful knife. Whether or not you like the design, it is really, really an unusual one with this compound grind here, kind of a Tonto-esque thing going on. Big old recurve in here in this point. So, you know, kind of, you know, reminds me of some other designs. Won't say which ones. Don't have that knife. And there's a signature, as he has on the TwoSun knife here as well. For a size comparison, I'll bring out what's in my pocket at the moment here, which is the MSI by Microtech. So you can see that these knives right in there, it's going to be a little longer, maybe half an inch or so longer on the MSI with almost a 4-inch blade. So maybe a bit longer. Put the Huntsman away. Beautiful, smooth drop on that too. Kaiser does a great job with their knives. And maybe one other comparison if you need compares. Of course, they're at 1, Ontario. Yeah. So even Steven pretty much on these. Big knife, as I said. Plenty to put your hand on. This does come in a blacked out version if you don't like this gold stuff. And it's grippier. So they got a titanium blacked out handle and a 14C blade on the other model. These come from White Mountain Knives, where you can use my discount code OLDSWORD. Yes, that's still valid. Or OG-Blade. OG Blade for 10% off of your entire order. Well, let me know what you think about this beast, and maybe you would want one for a little over $100, less the 10% discount, of course. So you come in right in at around 98, 99, $100, and it is a satisfying big beast of a knife. Okay, folks, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back soon.